Church of Satan members. We do not speak their behalf. The following contains language in adult manner and poorly impersonated celebrity voices. Listener discretion is advised.
Hey, this is Amy Pitt. You are listening to the Devil You Know podcast. You know, sometimes life ain't easy. Sometimes it gets rough, you know. Maybe you should man the fuck up.
Welcome to the daily grind. Today's fix: the ingredients list of a Twinkie. Enriched bleached wheat flour, flour, reduced iron, B vitamins, niacin, thiamine, mononitrate, riboflavin, folic acid, water, sugar, corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup, partially hydrogenated vegetable and or animal shortening, soybean, cottonseed and or canola oil, and beef fat, whole eggs, dextrose, contains 2% or less of soy lecithin, leavenings, sodium acid pyrophosphate, baking soda, cornstarch, and monocalcium phosphate, modified cornstarch, glucose, whey, glycerin, soybean oil, salt, mono and diglycerides, polysorbate 60, cornstarch, sodium stearolactate, natural and artificial flavor, sorbic acid to retain freshness, potassium sorbate, xanthan gum, cellulose gum, enzyme wheat flour, yellow 5, and red 40. Contains wheat, egg, milk, and soy. This has been Satanist Misty Tyers, bringing you your daily grind.
Wanted. God, dead or alive. It is a popular misconception that the Satanist does not believe in God. The concept of God, as interpreted by man, has been so varied throughout the ages that the Satanist simply accepts the definition which suits him best. Man has always created his gods, rather than his gods creating him. God is, to some, benign, to others, terrifying. To the Satanist, God, by whatever name he is called, or by no name at all, is seen as the balancing factor in nature and not as being concerned with suffering. This powerful force which permeates and balances the universe is far too impersonal to care about the happiness or misery of flesh and blood creatures on this ball of dirt upon which we live. Anyone who thinks of Satan as evil should consider all the men, women, children, and animals who have died because it was God's will. Certainly, a person grieving the untimely loss of a loved one would much rather have their loved one with them than in God's hands. Instead, they are unctuous is in God's hands now, my son. Such phrases have been a convenient way for religionists to condone or excuse the mercilessness of God. But if God is in complete control, and as benign as he is supposed to be, why does he allow these things to happen? Too long have religionists been falling back on their Bibles and rule books to prove or disprove, justify, condemn, or interpret. The Satanist realizes that man and the action and reaction of the universe is responsible for everything, and doesn't mislead himself into thinking that someone cares. No longer will we sit back and accept fate without doing anything about it, just because it says so in chapter such and such, psalm so and so, and that's that. The Satanist knows that praying does absolutely no good. In fact, it actually lessens the chance of success, for the devoutly religious too often sit back complacently and pray for a situation which, if they were to do something about it on their own, could be accomplished much quicker. The Satanist shuns terms such as hope and prayer, as they are indicative of apprehension. If we hope and pray for something to come about, we will not act in a positive way which will make it happen. The Satanist, realizing that anything he gets is of his own doing, takes command of the situation instead of praying to God for it to happen. Positive thinking and positive action add up to results. Just as the Satanist does not pray to God for assistance, he does not pray for forgiveness for his wrongdoings. In other religions, when one commits a wrong, he either prays to God for forgiveness or confesses to an intermediary and asks him to pray for God for forgiveness for his sins. The Satanist knows that if praying does no good, confessing to another human being like himself accomplishes even less and is, furthermore, degrading. When a Satanist commits a wrong, he realizes that it is natural to make a mistake. And if he is truly sorry about what he has done, he will learn from it and take care not to do the same thing again. If he is not honestly sorry about what he has done, and knows he will do the same thing over and over, he has no business confessing and asking for forgiveness in the first place. And this is exactly what happens. People confess their sins so that they can clear their consciences and be free to go out and sin again, usually the same sin. There are as many different interpretations of God in the usual sense of the word as there are types of people. The images run from a belief in a God who is some vague sort of universal cosmic mind to an anthropomorphic deity with long white beard and sandals who keeps track of every action of each individual. Even within the confines of a given religion, the personal interpretations of God differ greatly. Some religions actually go as far as to label anyone who belongs to a religious sect other than their own a heretic, even though the overall doctrines and impressions of godliness are nearly the same. For example, the Catholics believe that the Protestants are doomed to hell simply because they do not belong to the Catholic Church. In the same way, many splinter groups of the Christian faith, such as The evangelical or revivalist churches believe that the Catholics are heathens who worship graven images. Christ is depicted in the image that is most physiologically akin to the individual worshipping him, and yet the Christians criticize heathens for their worship of graven images. And the Jews have always been given the devil's name. Even though the God in all of these religions is basically the same, each regards the way chosen by the others as reprehensible. And to top it all, religionists actually pray for one another. They have scorn for their brothers of the right-hand path because their religions carry different labels, and somehow this animosity must be released. What better way than through prayer? What a simpering, polite way of saying, "I hate your guts," is the thinly disguised device known as praying for your enemy. Praying for one's own enemy is nothing more than bargain basement anger, and of a decidedly shoddy and inferior quality. If there has been so much violent discrepancy as to the proper way in which to worship God, how many different interpretations of God can there be, and who is right? All devout white lighters are concerned with pleasing God, so that they may have the pearly gates open for them when they die. Nevertheless, if a man has not lived his life in accordance with the regulations of his faith, he can, at the last minute, call a clergyman to his deathbed for final absolution. The priest or minister will then come running on the double to make everything right with God and to see it that his passport to the heavenly realm is in order. The Yazidis, a sect of devil worshippers, take a different viewpoint. They believe that God is all-powerful, but also all-forgiving, and so accordingly feel that it is the devil whom they must please, as he is the one who rules their lives while here on earth. They believe so strongly that God will forgive all of their sins once they have been given the last rites, that they feel no need to concern themselves with the opinion God may hold of them while they live. With all of the contradictions in the Christian scriptures, many people currently cannot rationally accept Christianity the way it has been practiced in the past. Great numbers of people are beginning to doubt the existence of God in the established Christian sense of the word. So, they have taken to calling themselves Christian atheists. True, the Christian Bible is a mass of contradictions, but what could be more contradictory than the term Christian atheist? If prominent leaders of the Christian faith are rejecting the past interpretation of God, how then can their followers be expected to adhere to previous religious tradition? With all the debates about whether or not God is dead, if he isn't, he had better have Medicare.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Circle Jerks. I know it seems kind of soon, but as a Circle of Jerks, I guess
that's
I
right.
should be saying, right? But yeah, we had a guest, and he's given us the stink eye. Or no, he's got a sty in his eye. Something, I don't know. Anyway, fell through. So last minute Circle of Jerks. John, would you like to introduce everyone who's with us this week?
Of course, we've got Citizen of the Infernal Empire, Cameron John.
Hi, guys.
We've got Satanist Andrew Rawson.
Hey, what's going on?
All right, and we have Reverend Raul Antony, everyone.
Hey, everyone.
Yeah. All right.
I get the applause.
Right.
And we'll cut that off.
Good.
How's it going, everybody?
Doing good.
Good.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, bit of a sausage fest here, but that's
Good.
all right.
Yeah, and thanks for coming. on TDY.
Is that a segue?
Ooh.
Is that a segue for our opening bit of discussion here? I know we get tired of talking about them, but we got a kind of pseudo douchebag group out there who is always trying to get on the news, and they did so recently by, I guess this is a stance against Texas law on abortion. Is that right?
Yeah, it was an attempt to protest the anti-abortion laws in Texas.
They basically they mailed cum rags to yeah, exactly.
By cum rags,
say it with a straight face.
Do you mean socks? What do you mean? What's a cum rag?
I guess. I mean, I don't know. That's the headline that I saw. I actually had the word cum rag.
Cum
so.
rag.
Oh my god! I hope that was like a legit publication.
Apparently,
people.
Yeah. I guess they jerked off and sent it into the, I don't know what, into the governor's office, or I mean, what did they?
It was the senators, the legislators, the people that make the laws. They were sending cum socks to their senators, to their congressmen, I guess, to protest.
Now, I assume that, I mean, bringing this into discussion, we don't really need to figure out who's on what side. Hopefully, we're all on the same side. But
I'm all for cum rag sending.
I mean, I guess that's my question here is, how is this not biohazard? How is this even legal to do? How are they not getting arrested for doing this?
I fully endorse using the full forces of the law to come down on them. Yeah, you don't know what kind of diseases or any kind of biohazard can be transported like that. Yeah, that's an act of terrorism.
You'd think that they'd be able to. You'd think that they would get arrested or something for even doing this.
Yeah, when I pee in a cup, for whatever reason, it gets all freaking sealed up and put in 2 bags and sent off and all this other crap. So to be able to do this, I mean, it's got to be against the law. You can't do that.
Well, you would think it would be against the law for obvious reasons, but also I would think, when they take that stuff to the post office, they're going to ask them, does this contain any hazardous materials, any biological chemicals, blah, blah, blah. And you can imagine they probably said no. I imagine there's something in there they can probably get in trouble for, too.
Because if one of them has AIDS, can they get arrested for attempted murder?
Oh, I hope so.
Well, actually, I do think there is a law about knowingly spreading HIV or something like that. I mean, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I guess you got to know that you have it for one. And, I mean, granted, I'm sure that group is probably fucking monkeys every chance they get, but still.
I mean, by the looks of them, you have no idea. You don't even know what they have.
Fucking right.
I mean, it's like a cesspool of
stupidity,
all kinds of things. Yeah, stupidity and bio waste.
Well, and this is definitely one of those things
waste
where,
keyword.
I mean, it's bad enough when the average person doesn't know the difference between a real Satanist and one of these clowns, but then these kind of things come up in the news, and it just makes it even worse. Like, every time you see something like this, you're like, oh, this is more explaining I got to do the upcoming week. Now, I understand that they kind of they've tried to pursue another avenue with the same situation about the abortion laws, where somehow I think if you become a member, you're protected as a sort of a religious right to not have to obey that law. And I'm wondering if that's true, because there are certain things, I guess, laws that you can get around for different religious reasons.
Right. I mean, they're trying to use, and I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to use that whole religious freedom. I forget the acronym, the term, but just whatever a Christian person wants to get around a certain regulation or a law, to discriminate against somebody. They'll say it's my Christian belief to follow in such a way. And so they tried to twist it around, saying, well, we have these sincere religious beliefs that that would allow us to get by any kind of laws that go against science or anything like that. No, the problem is that those are not sincerely held beliefs. Like there's documented evidence showing that their beliefs change based on the market, based on what's popular at the time. So it's
real life?
Yeah. It's like
Plus, the other side of that would be, regardless of what they try to claim as their religious freedom, doesn't stop the fact that the abortion clinics would be shut down in Texas anyway. So, what good is their religious freedom going to do?
Right.
Well, they've already proven time and time again they don't think. And I hold a firm religious belief that each and every one of those assholes should swallow a bullet.
Or swallow the load they're sending off.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, and I think the main thing to keep in mind is that I do think actually there are a few people in that group who know what they're doing. I actually do think, and I'm talking even above. I shouldn't even say his name, but above him, there are people who are. I think they're orchestrating things, and they're. I think they're looking for something to get out of this whole situation, and
every
you have like these
involved with her. I mean, obviously they're good at it. They're in the news. We know who they are. So I mean, their agenda is working for them.
Yeah, and that was their whole point. I mean, from the get-go. I mean, they were funded by media companies, and these are media companies that have press agents, that they have contacts within many of these mainstream outlets. So, I mean, from the very beginning was plotted to be a mass media attention-grabbing operation. So, they're getting that, and I get that. But in order to succeed at that, they had to make their message popular. They had to make their message easily digestible by the mainstream, right? So they adopted mainstream cheery humanitarian politics and liberal perspectives that are the mainstream, and nothing they say or do really challenges any kind of orthodoxy, in pop culture. You have TV shows with Lucifer, and TV shows with Salem and witches, so that's the kind of the trend right now, right? And
do you think that they're just putting on a big giant liberal good guy badge?
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Oh yeah, they are.
Fucking right. Yeah. So, and that's and that's the thing. Like, they paint themselves as rebels. Like, oh yeah, we're fighting the man, we're fighting the system. It's like, no, you're not. You are the system. Like, you are allowed to exist because of the system. Like, they are just another facet of the system, except they're wearing black, and they're playing up this rebel image, but they're not.
I'm not saying, yeah. Activists.
But anyway,
it's more instances of God's Gone Wild.
Yeah. And these comrags, though, like it just shows that there's they have like this kind of they claim like kind of this anarchist system. Like they have no hierarchy, they have no rulers, and people just do what they want with the name or whatever. And I think that gives them some level of removal, like one step removed, So I think I saw something about how the Satanic Temple wasn't officially endorsing this campaign, but it's something one of their members did or something like that. And so they're always trying to like stay one step removed from it, So if it ever kind of blows up in their face, they can just say, oh well, it was just these members, it wasn't us. Kind of like the thing with the whole the Muslim bodyguards thing. I think there was a few months ago. They were saying like, they would offer their services as to be bodyguards for anybody who felt in danger or something like that. And
here's my safety pin.
Safety pin on.
Yeah, that's literally good guys.
Like, let's carry a knife.
Yeah, let's literally be your good guy badge. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm getting nauseous. But you mentioned they're trying to rebel against the system and things like that. There's another. It reminded me of something else that's coming out pretty soon here about rebelling against the Empire, and that's Star Wars Rogue One. What do you guys think about that coming out?
I'm excited.
I'm fucking stoked.
I guess I'm the one guy who's like, well, all right, that's cool.
So how long have you been a terrorist for?
Vagina.
Well, there are people out there who are upset that it's not part of the original series, which, I mean, I for one, I'm glad that they're going to branch up and do other stories, even though it's still related to, it is still related to the first one. It's just a different aspect of it. But obviously, I mean, a couple of us here are diehard Star Wars geeks.
Yeah.
And I am definitely, I got my tickets, of course. I'm ready, so.
It's funny.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't the Rogue One timeline supposed to be somewhere in the same general timeline as Shadows of the Empire? Kind of following.
No. Shadows is between Empire and Return. Rogue One's right before A New Hope.
Oh, okay. So it's like right there between. Sith
like
and New
right
Hope. Okay.
before, like this is going to end right where Episode 4, A New Hope, would begin.
Yeah.
Hell yeah! No, I definitely think I'm gonna go see it. Then that sounds like a cool idea.
Ooh, which one is Shadows of the Empire?
That's a book, actually.
Oh, okay. I was like,
and a
there's
really
something there.
shitty video game.
Yeah, book, comic book, video games. Yeah, they had a whole bunch, and it was it kind of its own cult following.
Oh,
that
all right.
I don't know if that Cameron, that's no longer canon now.
No.
Yeah,
That's
that's
because of
correct.
Disney bastards.
Anything from the expanded universe is now considered non-canon, but I did like the Shadows of the Empire storyline because it took place between Empire and Jedi, and it was kind of this dark period, not just for the few people that may still have been around from the Empire side, but also, if I remember correctly, there was a time frame in there somewhere around that same period where Luke even kind of dabbled onto the dark side a little bit, they kind of hinted toward that.
Not in Shadows, I don't think.
No, from my understanding, it was always post Jedi. Was when he not so much dabbled, but he did the Yoda thing, where it was to be a complete master, one should know everything, not just the one side that he chooses.
I always kind of thought that fell between the two because I thought that would have explained why in the beginning of Jedi Luke was in all black, but I guess I was wrong about that.
No, he just digs black.
Yeah, fair enough. I dig black.
Who doesn't?
I never understood why anybody is not into it. Like, if you liked Star Wars, any of the other shows, the movies, this is something that has to do with it. There's lightsabers in it. There's X-wing fighters. How could you not just dig it because of that? It's just, I don't. Well,
it's definitely one of those things. Like especially if you grew up in that era and you're really, like some of us remember. Like I can't remember much past, getting my first Star Wars action figure. At 5 years old when the movie came out. Like that was a big enough moment for me to, if you didn't grow up that way, it may, I was wondering that, like, if Star Wars was just the very first one, if it was just released today, would it be any good? Or is it? I mean,
shit over it.
Really, I mean, think about it though. I mean, like, if there'd never been any Star Wars movies up until now, if we'd never heard the name Darth Vader, but every other movie we've ever seen had come out, just nothing Star Wars related, and it just now came out, the original Star Wars movie, would it just be like this is lame because of everything else that we're into? It's kind of got so much nostalgia attached to it that now anything even related to it, I loved it so much as a kid that now seeing a new movie with new AT-ATs coming out, like, oh my god, it's so cool, but I don't know. Would it be that cool if it just now started? I don't know.
I know that James Earl Jones would only be known for, Coming to America and fucking
Conan the Barbarian.
Sandlot. He was in fucking Sandlot.
Oh, that's right.
From The Lion King. I don't know.
Anyone who throws rose petals at my son's feet. Love it.
The royal penis is clean.
As someone who's not a hardcore Star Wars fan, even I'm interested in the movie. I'm not going to be there like camping out day one to watch it, but I'll probably watch it in the theaters, and it looks good. And in terms of Whether it would come out now and the impact it would have, it's kind of hard to say, because when the movie came out, it kind of affected so many movies downstream, right? So if that movie didn't come out, a whole genre of movies wouldn't be out, and so you wouldn't even have the whole mind frame to really judge it. I mean, so it could have as big of an impact now because everything that came from it wouldn't have existed. So we would just be resetting that clock. So I think, and I like listening to all these podcasts with relating Satanism with Star Wars and that whole mythology, and is interesting to me.
Those guys are pretty cool.
Yep. I recognize you from it. Yeah, and I think the so especially with the Sith and all that, and it's just I've always been more into like cyberpunk than straight sci-fi. So it's kind of just been a whole different kind of genre for me.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So what's
I'm actually really.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, yeah, no, sorry. Just tying into the whole Star Wars discussion, I'm actually excited for a little further down the line when they start getting into the Han movie series. That's going to go back to Han's life.
Young Han Solo,
yeah.
I'll be honest, I'm kind of scared. They could really fuck that character up.
I don't. I think so far, I think they're doing. I think they're doing all right. We'll see. I guess we'll find out after this coming weekend. If we all walk away happy, then I think I'll.
Don't get cocky, kid.
Does Han Solo ever speak in the three original movies?
Yeah.
Yeah, quite a bit.
Okay. All right.
He's always yelling at Luke like a little brother and shit.
All right.
Travel through hyperspace ain't like Dustin Crafts, boy.
It's funny.
All right, let's move on here.
Yeah, you brought up
I actually brought something up. This was something I saw. Somebody else posted this, and it's a question people ask me about all the time and are surprised about my answers. But it was a discussion. Maybe it was a little. I think it was a little short video about people feeling upset about being judged for their piercings or their tattoos showing, and that the job place would give them a hard time about it or not hire them if they had tattoos showing or piercings showing. Like to hear everyone's opinions on this.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I could see some jobs not wanting to hire people with tattoos. I mean, it really just depends on A, the type of job it is, B, the type of people you're going to be dealing with at said job. And who knows what else? Like, I mean, in my job, because I deal with people entirely over the phone, I can have tattoos. That's not a problem. But if I was dealing with these people face to face, I could see if my boss was like, hey, you really should do something about those tattoos.
Yeah, I can understand it because, like, it does suck. I have tats and things like that, and I want more. But, if I own a company where I have a lot of people facing the public and things like that, I mean, I don't care that they're Muslim. I don't care what religion they are, because that's none of my business. But when it comes to their presentation and representing my company, I can understand that they wouldn't do that. Even though I'm an advocate of tattoos, I can truly understand why. That should be allowed. They should be allowed to not hire somebody because of the way they look, because they're trying to have a certain persona, with their company.
Well, and people actually
discrimination.
What's that?
Yeah, well.
And I mean, fuck, I am covered in tattoos, and I don't see a problem with it at all. Like, if it's your company, it's your company.
Right.
Just don't get shit that you're going to keep from getting hired places, or it's going to keep you from getting hired at places.
Yeah.
I mean, I waited about 3 years into my career as a tattoo artist before I got anything visible that would have screwed me.
Yeah.
I think I
waited
actually
longer
jumped
than
on
that,
the post.
Probably waited about 10 years before I had like hand tattoos or neck tattoos or anything. But that was something that, like I said, a lot of people are kind of surprised. They expect me to jump in and defend them if they're like, oh, we should be accepted for who we are in the job we do, and as much as I'm making money off of them, for tattoos, I'm like, no, I don't agree. It's up to the business owner, to decide what's best for their business. And you don't get to decide, that you think they should accept you when it's their business. They get to decide that,
Yeah. Or if you want $15 an hour, you don't get to decide that.
Yeah, I just think that there's a level of responsibility is, and we hear this all the time. Like it used to be, back when I first started my career, people actually were still a little bit more cautious about it, and they would actually, parents would say, you can't get tattoos at show, and now parents are bringing in 16-year-olds going, well, he wants his hand tattooed. I'm like, well, why don't you be a fucking mom and say no, until this kid figures out what he's going to do with his life.
Yeah, it's I think it was Gyps Fulvis. I think he posted something that David Harris reposted on his Facebook, and he said, well, Gyps says, you cannot live your life as if you're part of the Addams family and intrinsically expect to be treated like the Cleavers. And I really agree with that.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. And I think you have a generation of kids now who want the kind of image of a rebel, kind of like what I was saying earlier, but they want to be treated just like anybody else. They want to be an outsider but be an insider. They want best of both worlds, and I could see that. You want your cake and eat it too. I can respect that, but at the same, but they come at it as something that they're owed. They want this is owed to them, and I think that's a big problem.
I want to be a Jedi
in some
and
ways,
a Sith.
It's almost being a cleaver is the rebellious stance.
Yeah. I think on that same post, I think it was Sarama that had a good point that she said that it's not we're not that far off before it's going to be a moot point because nobody's really going to care. I mean, the more popular and more commonplace that tattoos become, it is, more and more jobs are open to it, and eventually, it's not even going to be an issue. But, I mean, regardless, until you're 100% sure that the job you want is going to be okay, I mean, you should plan on that ahead of time and know and think, just in case, maybe I think I'll put this somewhere that's not visible or wait,
I kind of like my VP's kind of attitude. He doesn't care if you have tattoos, if you have sleeves, doesn't care. I mean, this is a professional office environment, but if you walk in with shorts, you're in trouble.
Nice.
Raul, you got any tattoos? Because I know everyone else does.
I do. Yeah, I
Nice.
have a big actual Baphomet on my chest, tattooed by Lucifer. He was apprenticing with Paul Booth in his Last Right studio in New York
nice.
City.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I couldn't get the spot with Paul Booth because he was booked for like a year, and but he hooked me up with Lucifer. I forgot exactly how he pronounces it, but he was an Israeli tattoo artist working with him at the booth there, and he actually opened up his own booth that's doing really well right now in Brooklyn. But at the time, Paul was there looking at it. He took pictures of it. I wish I can get those pictures of it in process. I think it's up there in some website, but I'll look for it and I'll share it with you guys sometime.
Nice. Cool.
Awesome. Very cool, man.
Cool. So,
all right.
What else we got? We've got a happening coming up. The first public Church of Satan event or Church of Satan sponsored event in 10 years, over 10 years now. Reverend Cardone's Nude Witch Review.
Nice. Yeah,
so
that's coming up in January, right?
Yeah, that's coming up pretty fast. It was a short notice, but tickets are selling like hotcakes, man.
Yeah.
I wish we'd have had more notice. That would have been cool.
Yeah, I would have loved to have watched
Yeah, it's
that.
kind of hard for us West Coast people to fly out willy-nilly.
Yeah, it's at the Slipper Room in New York City, Thursday, January 26th at 7 p.m. And I think it's $20 for members and 40. Don't quote me on this, but I'm trying to find out right now. I think it's 40 for 25 for Church of Satan members. I'm reading it right now. $40 for Muggles. I'm sorry, the general public.
No, I like that. I think more events should try to do something like that. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting, really, to see. I would like to see if maybe somebody could, I don't know, maybe interview or film non-members afterwards, like coming out and asking, kind of getting their opinions on it and seeing what they think of it all.
That'd be good.
It was
I think we talked about this last week, but at the Devil's Reign show, my wife and Jared McGee's wife were along, and they're not members, and they'd never been to anything like this. And so seeing, Peter up there shouting "Hail Satan" and "Shem Feresh" and all of us echoing it, I think it set a real tone of, oh wow, they actually do this, and so it would be interesting to see like just the general public go to the show, go to a show like this and go, wow, this is they're a real thing,
Definitely.
It's actually one of my favorite parts of both Satanist and Speak of the Devil, where those little clips of interviews with people on the street, like, what do you think about Satanism?
Yeah.
And like, oh, the devil, I don't want the devil. What was that?
My favorite's always the missionary part in Satanist. Always makes me giggle.
Was it the Mormons? Was it the Mormon missionaries? Yeah.
You think anyone will protest?
Oh, I'm sure.
With milk? Or what do you mean?
I don't know. That would be interesting to see, because the Devil's Reign has been pretty well advertised around Fort Myers, and there was no protesters for that.
Oh, you weren't there for the concert. You only made it there for the gallery show. The night of the concert, there was some other thing going on in one of the venues across the street, and there were actually people standing outside the venue while we were inside doing our thing, and they were praying for us.
Oh, that's sweet.
Did it work?
Oh, I didn't hear about that. That's interesting.
I don't feel any different. But
I mean, hey, that's better than protesting, whatever. I mean, as long as they're not, I don't know.
I think New York City, I don't think you got much of a problem. I mean, unless you have, other goofballs protesting us. But I don't know.
That's gonna take like a hardcore, militant Christian group to really do something like that. Like maybe I would. Westboro would do it in a heartbeat, probably, if they knew. But
I mean, honestly, I would be more concerned with Muslim. Not protesting, because they won't protest, they'll just kill you. But
just bomb it, yeah.
Idiots.
So
but they might accidentally see a naked woman, and then they have to kill themselves. So although I guess they're in there doing that anyway.
All I know is I've dipped every one of my rounds in pig's blood, so they're not going anywhere. There'll be no virgins for you. But,
this virgin dudes.
Yeah,
that's what I'd imagine it'd be.
Yeah, just to touch on the happening there. The celebration is also to honor the new Church of Satan canon, the Satanic Warlock, by Magister Dr. Robert Johnson. And I guess Peter Gilmore's going to be there. High Priestess Magistra Peggy Dredramia.
Does everybody get their copy of their book of the new Satanic Warlock?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I haven't made it in too far. I've been too busy to sit down and actually devour the book, unfortunately.
Hey, we're living it anyway.
I haven't really had a chance to read it yet, but I do have it.
Yeah, it's actually very well written, and I'm actually really, really proud of Bob Johnson, man. It's really good. All right, so how about that Trump?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, Trump 2016.
Yeah. Well, so did you guys hear the rumor about the Electoral College possibly voting for Clinton instead?
No, I
haven't heard that one.
Me neither. I
don't think there's really a rumor of that. I think that's more fake news coming from the usual suspects, like Washington Post, CNN, all that. But
Russia.
Yeah. Well, Russia. I think that you're going to have a few defectors, and I think that's happened in the past. I don't think that's anything new. But if you actually follow the Electoral College laws and rules in many of the states, they're already sworn to actually follow the vote of the state, and you also have a very large majority who are Republican. So you would have to convince a very large number of Republican electorates to vote for Hillary, and I don't think that's going to happen.
And that happens on the 19th, right?
No.
I'm not sure exactly
this month. I heard
when.
I heard 19th of this month they have to finalize it or something. So
Yeah.
My understanding of it is, just to kind of expand on what we were just talking about there, that they actually do have the option of being able to vote against their state, but in doing so, they have to agree to pay a penalty. And so not only do you have to actually convince them to vote against their state, but you have to convince them to ante up the cash for doing so.
what is it, like $40? What is it?
I'm not sure what the exact fine is.
Wow.
No, not sure. And either way, if that were to actually happen, if you were for the first time to overturn the democratic process, I think you would have a very, very violent time. It would be calling for something close to a actual civil war, and I don't think that's in anybody's interest. I don't even think that's in the interest of the Democratic Party, because
although I will say that before the election, it felt like, all conservatives were like, we need to get rid of the Electoral College. And then after the election, all the liberals were like, we need to get rid of the Electoral College.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, I think that the whole idea was kind of stupid from both sides. Yeah, I think the Electoral College serves a purpose. You don't want the coastal cities to dominate the election. I mean, that's the whole point of it. So
Yeah.
Am I coming in as Darth Vader right now?
No, there's some kind of weird background noise or something, but yeah.
Anyone who throws rose petals at my son's feet shall answer to me.
She's a queen.
Free from infection.
I'm just glad we're not at war with Russia. That's my only concern.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're deciding our votes.
I mean, isn't that...
They need to do a better job then, I guess.
Whatever they're doing in their own interest. I mean, of course they would want to support the candidate that doesn't want to nuke them. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and it's kind of funny because what is it, 20 years ago, like U.S. officials were influencing Russian elections, and we're supposed to be proud of that. And now they may have inadvertently done some influencing on our side, and we're supposed to be up in arms. I don't know. It's kind of hypocritical.
I'm hearing everything, but I'm also hearing like a Star Wars robot war going on. What is it?
Yeah, I'm picking that up too.
I was like,
pew pew. Maybe I thought I heard something about Sith or Jedi earlier in that weird background noise, and I'm wondering if whoever we're hearing is hearing us and going, "Hey, did you just hear? They were just saying something about Sith and Jedi."
Wow.
Now nude witches. What the hell?
I think they're talking about Satan, dude.
Hey, you guys hear me?
Yeah, I bet we boop. Can I get a chicken sandwich and an arch eye, please? Are you there?
Serious?
You there? Raul, come in.
I'm here. I'm here.
There you go. You were the one that was breaking up, right?
No, that wasn't me. No.
Oh, who's Andrew?
No, I'm still here.
Okay, Cameron.
I didn't hear anything on my end.
What the hell,
fuck
dude?
is that noise?
Hey, John.
Somebody
Yeah.
else is there?
John,
Yes.
this
Who's
is
that?
Lorcan.
What?
What the fuck?
He's been out the whole time.
Holy shit, dude! You freaked me out. How did you get in here?
I called and it just put me in.
What? Oh, because I must. Okay, so because I invited you before, and it must have put you. Well, how much did you hear? Were we talking about you?
I just came in about 20 seconds ago, so if you guys were ragging on me, I missed it.
Oh, good, good.
No, you were here.
No, just kidding. No, that's awesome.
We're about wrapping things up. Actually.
Yeah, we're actually done. But thanks for joining us, Lorcan.
Hey, well, at least I get to say goodbye to you guys. You know, that's just fuck.
Wubbit?
I don't know what the hell's wrong with my stuff, man. It just kept saying webcam failure. So I actually ran next door to a buddy of mine and grabbed one of his mics, and that's what I'm on now.
You're like, I gotta get on TDYK, motherfucker.
I was having that issue last time I was doing a podcast. So, just FYI.
Just
Did
throwing
you have
that
to
out
go
there.
ask a neighbor or a mic?
Can I borrow a cup of sugar and a microphone?
That was about it.
Well, Lorcan, while you're here, really quick before we wrap up, is there anything that you would like to add?
Okay, that's good.
Actually, I think what I'll do is I'll just say hello and goodbye, and next time I'll join the party.
All right, man. Thanks for stopping by.
Right on, right.
Yeah.
That was funny.
All right. Well, yeah.
Was that him like trying to chime in every now and then, but just coming in as like an android or something?
It sounded weird. It was
I
like.
wonder.
That probably makes sense.
That was weird, man.
I thought I had fucking like bees burrowing into my wall.
Alrighty.
Anyway, guys, we want to thank you for coming on the show. Seriously, I think we
Absolutely.
touched on a lot, and we got some good feedback from each other about this stuff. Pretty good episode.
Yeah, this was good. I should come on more often. This was fun.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, I'm usually on some of my other podcasts. I'm like more the producer, so I'm kind of sharing that hell with you, John, of editing. And oh god, you have no idea. I live in Audition for a good amount of time, and I'm like chopping out the dead air and all the ums and ahs and clicks and pops
and Lorcan's robot noises. Yeah, I hear you. Crazy. No, yeah, it's nutty, but yeah. That's cool, man.
All right.
We'll have you on
Thanks,
as a guest soon then.
All right. That'd be great. I'd be
Cool.
happy to join you guys.
All right.
Awesome.
All right, guys. Until next time, hail Satan.
Hail Satan.
Hail Satan.
Hail Santa.